The continued fighting indicates that despite Iraq's call for a ceasefire, Tehran appears determined to press on with efforts to reclaim its occupied territories. Larry Pinzak, CBS News, Baghdad.
An arrest warrant is out for a man wanted for questioning in the connection of the shooting deaths of at least 6 blacks around this country. The warrant names Joseph Paul Franklin with civil rights violations and the shootings of 2 young black men in Salt Lake City. The FBI also wants to question Franklin in the wounding of Urban League President Vernon Jordan in Fort Wayne, Indiana last May. The Ku Klux Klan rallied today in Jackson, Mississippi for the first time in more than 20 years. 2 hours before the rally, 175 blacks marched through that city protesting the shooting of a pregnant black teenager by a white policeman. But the groups did not meet, and there was no trouble. Still to come, the good news that Boeing got. A political leader steps down, but first, Gary Spinell is here to talk about sports.
I have good news, too. Huskies win today, and the baseball picture a lot clearer after the games today with the Phillies, Montreal, and the Dodgers in Houston. We'll talk about it right after this.
You're always the fashion, oh what a plus. You always feel smashing, oh what a plus. Now here's a great Tampax Plus. Tampax Super Plus, oh what a plus.
Compared to our fabulous Super, it's a step forward in a tampon protection product with comfort, proven in doctors' supervised tests, designed also to give you pluses you won't find in any other tampon.
Tampax Super Plus, oh what a plus.
Weather. Oxidation. They can kill your car's finish. Beat them with the new Polyshell system from Turtle Wax. The Polyshell system. 3 protective layers of polymers and silicones that bond to your car. Plus a reactivator applied every 6 months for 24 months shine and protection. Get 3 layers of brilliant protection. The Polyshell system from Turtle Wax.
From Cleopatra's time, there has been one secret that women of legendary beauty have passed on. Henna for hair. Now, VO5 introduces a new shampoo with essence of neutral henna. This golden amber shampoo lathers richness into your hair. VO5 with neutral henna brings out the body, the shine, the natural beauty without changing the natural color. Discover the newest Alberto VO5 shampoo with essence of neutral henna.
And pass on the secret.
John Houseman for the investment firm of Smith Barney.
Smith Barney executives continually learn about the art of investing. Precious little about selling. You don't sell clients, you work for them. You work very hard researching the right investments. And when they're right, no one has to be sold. Smith Barney, they make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
Well, the Huskies beat Oklahoma State's Cowboys today, 24-18 in Oklahoma, as Husky quarterback Tom Flick passed for 2 touchdowns in that second half. Flick hit flanker Paul Scanzi to give the Huskies a 17-3 cushion in the third period after Chuck Nelson had connected on 3 field goals, and the Huskies iced it with 5:57 in the game when Flick hit Ron Blacken for a touchdown. Last-ditch effort, by the way, by the Cowboys, stymied in the late going when the Huskies linebacker Jerry McClain recovered a fumble by the Cowboys. Lots of scores today around football and some surprises, and right off the top, there's one. The Cougars get a surprise as they're beaten by Pacific. Do you believe that one? USC in a squeaker over Arizona State. The upset of the day here, UCLA beats Ohio State 17-0. Stanford wins again. Michigan has another big day as they beat California 38-13. Arizona in a baseball score 5-3 over Iowa. Notre Dame outlasts Michigan. Bear Bryant picks up win number 300 as Bama shuts out Kentucky. Penn State over Missouri, and Florida State outlasts Nebraska. The final score you see there. Well, the picture got much clearer today concerning the baseball playoffs. Well, the Yankees, with their victory over Detroit, clinched the American League East, and the Phillies, with a win over the Expos, took the National League East. Now with the score tied 2-2, the Yanks are at bat. That's number 44. In slow-mo, it is Reggie Jackson. He will put the Yankees out to stay 5-3. Puts one in the bleachers there, and you will see him circle the bases. Come out for a little encore performance here. Reg, come out of the dugout. Bow one more time. Rich Gossage goes on. He strikes out the side of the 9th inning. So it'll be Kansas City and the Yankees in the American League playoffs. They will start in Kansas City on Wednesday. Well, Mike Schmidt hit a 2-run homer in the left field seats with 1 out in the 11th inning, and that gave the Phillies the National League East crown today with a 6-4 win over the Montreal Expos. Schmidt's homer, by the way, his 48th of the year, sets a single-season home run record for third baseman. Another race going to the wire, Houston and the Dodgers, as the Bums held on again today to beat Houston 2-1. The big blow of the game, this homer coming up on your screen by Steve Garvey. Number 6 really gets a hold of one and puts it into the left field seats. Jerry Royce the winner, Nolan Ryan the loser. 1 game remaining. The Astros have a 1-game lead. It should be an interesting day tomorrow in Dodger Stadium with Houston and the Dodgers. Well, not so interesting down in Texas tonight. The Rangers defeated the Mariners 11-6. An error by shortstop Mario Mendoza opened the door for 4 unearned runs. That gave the Rangers the lead for good in the 6th. Jim Beattie had a 3-1 lead going into that inning, and they blew it. Baseball scores around the league. There you will see the Yankees splitting with the Detroit Tigers, though it really doesn't matter. The Yanks wrap it all up today. The Sox beat California, Toronto with a pair over Boston, and Oakland stops Milwaukee 4-0. Over the National League, a couple of scores we just gave you. There's the Dodgers score and the Phillies score. The Cubs stop the Pirates 6-0. The Giants will beat San Diego 4-2. The Mets beat St. Louis 5-2, and Cincinnati with a 3-2 win over Atlanta. Well, the Seahawks face a big test tomorrow when they take on Kenny Stabler, Earl Campbell, and the remainder of that very tough Houston Oilers team. The Oilers are without a real weakness, so it should be a great one down in the Astrodome tomorrow. Now, earlier in the week, Wayne Cody talked to the Hawks receiver Sam McCullum about whether or not his early season contributions have made him happy.
As you know, when particularly this early in the season, normally, I've always got to be a part of the season later on the season when things are kind of decided for us, or we're trying to struggling to get back in the playoffs. But this year, I've got more involved with the offense, and in a lot of ways, I'm out there trying to block punts, now I'm on punt return, I'm out there with the kick trying to block field goals and extra points. So I'm really more involved with the team this year early, and the success right now that we're playing good ball, even though we're 2-2, we should be 3-1, and I think that makes me feel better that I'm contributing and we're winning early in the season.
Well, one of the Seahawks that had a big week last week in the Hawks win over the Redskins was Jim Jodetz. Wayne also talked to him about the remainder of the Seattle Seahawks season.
This is a very good club. We're going to win. We're going to be in every game we play, and if we can stay away from mistakes, that's going to win a lot of games. It's a young and exciting team. Like I said, if we stay away from mistakes, we're going to be in every game, and it's no telling what we can do.
Been a fun time at the rodeo the last few nights at the Kingdome. Here's the final results. The calf roping winner was John Bashi. Saddle bronc winner David Botham. Bull riding Bernie Flynn. Barrel racing winner Sharon Camarillo. Steer wrestling Clay West. And the bareback riding winner was Sam Perkins. 21,000 people tonight at the rodeo. So that's a good time. Some Metro football scores. Let's get to those before we go away. Franklin beat Rainier Beach 18-15. Roosevelt over Ballard 30-0. And Nathan Hale 20. Chief Self 18.
You have more fun than just a barrel of monkeys, don't you?
Get it all in, don't I?
Yeah. Thank you, Gary.
Okay. Coming
up, the Boeing Company and its workers are still friends. We'll have that story and politics coming up after this.
This fall, I'm doing something that'll change every businessman's travel plans. I'm lowering Braniff's discount fares all over the U.S. without cutting service. I repeat, without cutting service. You'll still fly in one of the newest planes with comfortable leather seats, enjoying some of the finest food in the air. So if you're flying this fall, fly Braniff. There's no way you'll find a better deal.
You buy Crest for your whole family?
Always.
Never something a little more exciting like...
Toothpastes don't excite me. Good checkups, that excites me.
And you always use Crest?
Crest works. And more dentist families use Crest with Fluorestan than any other toothpaste.
But don't you ever want to try something a little
Always buying the same toothpaste may not be so exciting. But you can bore me with those great Crest checkups every time.
Toothpaste may not excite you, but Crest Great Checkups will.
In the late 20s, tough, rugged terrain could slow the search for oil to a crawl. So men working for a company that will become Chevron took to the air, and through aerial photography, mapped in days what would have taken months. An energy frontier was crossed. Today, satellite images cover thousands of miles of the Earth's surface, expanding Chevron's search for oil that's still hidden, but can be found. Chevron was born on the frontier, and we've never left it.
I've got a confession to make. I've always loved the freshness of Tic Tac.
But when sugar freeze came along, I figured I'd give up some of that freshness to get fewer calories. Know what? I was wrong. Sugar-free Velaments have 9 calories each, and Tic Tac has 1.5. Not 9, 1.5. So I'm staying with Tic Tac, because to get fewer calories, I don't have to give up taste or freshness or nothing. Tic Tac, the 1.5 calorie mint.
Police in Seattle are searching for an armed robber tonight after he held up the Northwest Hospital Pharmacy. The white man in his 30s entered the building shortly before 8:30. He showed a gun and demanded drugs. The suspect was wearing blue denim jacket, jeans, and a light blue cap. Weighs about 160 pounds and stands 5 feet 10. Anybody who knows anything about that is asked to call the Seattle Police Department. 35,000 Boeing aerospace workers will continue to work. They jammed the Kingdome today to approve the latest 3-year contract offer. Ed Evans has the story.
Officials say over 30,000 members of the giant aerospace union crowded into the Kingdome this morning to hear an explanation of their proposed new 3-year contract. The new pact includes a 13% pay increase over a 3-year period. 7% of that would come the first year, the remainder in 3% increments over the next 2 years. The negotiating committee officers of the Aerospace Machinist Lodge 751 told their members today the contract had both good and bad points about it, but nonetheless recommended passage of the package. A vocal element attending the Kingdome meeting made their displeasure known with a series of catcalls during the union presentation, but as it turned out, their opinion seemed to represent the minority of those in attendance.
There are some pluses in this proposal, and there are some minuses. We have been criticized in the past for not letting it all hang out, and we have tried. I say we have tried not to make mistakes, to include everything that's bad in here, along with the gains that have been made. And if you listen carefully, I'll try to explain to you some of the technical aspects of this proposal.
After the morning presentations, members filed out into the waiting areas surrounding the Kingdome to collect their ballots, mark them, and drop them into the ballot box. Late today, a union spokesman said the contract was approved by a 78% margin. That included a 75% favorable vote from Seattle members of the union and an even larger yes margin from members of the union at Boeing's facilities in Wichita, Kansas and Portland, Oregon. Ed Evans, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
The State Labor Council's endorsing convention gave its support today to Democratic candidate for Governor Jim McDermott. The convention met in Seattle to go through the final list of candidates who will get support of labor in the general election in November. Both candidates for Governor John Spellman and Jim McDermott appeared briefly before the group to appeal for their support. Republican Spellman asked the convention members to abandon traditional positions of primarily endorsing Democratic candidates.
I feel confident that if it were not for my party label, I would have the endorsement of this group. I feel confident that many members, perhaps the majority of the rank and file, will vote for me in 4 weeks' time. I know it will take courage to endorse them. I know it will take a certain amount of guts to go against the trend of always endorsing people from one party. I ask you to exercise that courage, to show your backbone. Either endorse me or don't endorse at all.
It was evident, however, that Spellman's opponent, Jim McDermott, was the convention favorite. He got a standing ovation when he came in and resounding support when he finished speaking to the group.
He's been going around the state saying that I lack experience and that somehow being a county official qualifies him to be governor. That seems to me to be an old and tired Republican line.
The endorsement required a 2/3 vote of the convention. One other quick political note, State Senate Majority Leader Gordon Walgren resigned his post today. Yesterday, he was convicted, along with co-defendants John Bagnariol and Pat Gallagher, of conspiring to increase gambling in this state. Coming up, a report on a job that's crying for more people to do it. Anne Fran has joined us to tell us how the weather looks tomorrow.
Fiat Brava, the affordable European performance sedan, is even more affordable with a $400 factory rebate.
For the man who makes each day a whole new adventure. adventure. Pierre Cardin has created Pierre Cardin Man's Cologne. It's the fragrance the well-dressed man is wearing. Pierre Cardin Man's Cologne. Today is too important to wear anything else. Cardin's Travel Kit. Just $5 with any Cardin fragrance purchase.
Available at Nordstrom.
The seafood choice meal at Skipper's. You get a tasty cod fillet and fries. Coleslaw and chowder. Then you'll have to make up your mind. Will you also have tender fried clams? Or succulent scallops? Or delicious Gulf shrimp? Then will it be a large soft drink or a beer? Well, make up your mind. For only $3.99 at Skipper's, where you get good seafood without getting soaked.
John Houseman for the investment firm of Smith Barney.
Old-fashioned Smith Barney. Not something out of Dickens, no green eye shades and long ledgers here. Today, computers do the paperwork, the old-fashioned part. The real work of creating a sound investment program is still done up here. Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
And now it's time for us to find out how good the weather's going to be for the next day or so.
Well, first of all, it was a super day today to go out and register to vote or whatever else it was that you had to do. And if you happen to catch the sunset this evening, you saw an absolutely gorgeous sunset. The current temperature is 63 degrees with a dew point at 49. The relative humidity is 60% with barometric pressure still falling at 29.6. With winds from the north at 5 miles per hour. And here's what it looked like around the rest of the country today. You can see that they're having a lot of fall-like temperatures in the east with some record-breaking low temperatures. For example, in Jacksonville, Florida with 50, and up here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan with 25 degrees, where it will be snow flurrying this evening. In the west, it's sun, sun, sun. Really livable temperatures in Los Angeles with 81, 86 in Las Vegas, 83 in Salt Lake City, and one rather unlivable temperature in Red Bluff, California with 107. That's in the Sacramento Valley, and it gets really hot. Here's our satellite picture. There's a low pressure system way out there in the Gulf of Alaska that has brought a lot of warm air into our area today. However, that warm area is moving east, and as it goes, the clouds will start coming in probably by about tomorrow night or Monday morning. And here's how warm it was in Washington today. It got very toasty in eastern Washington with a high of 85 in Pasco, closely followed by 84 in Yakima and Walla Walla. The high in western Washington, 77 in Hoquiam with 74 in Olympia. As for what we can expect tomorrow, you're going to like the news. It's fair and sunny with tonight's lows in the low 50s, tomorrow's highs in the mid-70s. Winds will be from the southeast 5 to 15 miles per hour, and the rain chance is not much, 10 tonight, 10 tomorrow, and 10 tomorrow night. However, there will be some patchy fog tomorrow morning, but that'll burn off.
But it looks like pretty good weather.
Very good weather.
When's the rain going to get here then?
Probably not until Tuesday or Wednesday when Harry's going to talk about it.
Oh, Harry gets the blame for it then.
He gets the bad stuff this week.
Good planning. Good planning. Thanks, Fran. The nation's running into a shortage. We have too many doctors, too many teachers, too many lawyers, but not enough nurses. And here's that story from Atlanta.
In this newborn infant intensive care unit at Atlanta's Grady Hospital, 40 nurses are supposed to be assigned to protect the lives of these fragile babies. But because nearly 1 out of every 4 of Grady's staff nursing positions is vacant, only 9 nurses are here. 6 floors below, this 8-bed critical care unit has been closed. Not enough nurses. It's not just a problem here. Nursing has the highest turnover and dropout rate of any profession. 80% of the nation's hospitals have a nursing shortage. There are 100,000 unfilled positions, and that means more work for the nurses on duty and less care for their patients.
I've been in situations where there have been 8 or 9 patients, 4 or 5 on ventilators, and 2 nurses. And you know, before you even start, that chances are you could lose someone because you don't have the proper number of nurses.
The major reason hospitals cannot keep their nurses is money. The average annual starting salary is $13,000 a year, and the top salary with 40 years experience is $18,000. And so nurses are leaving their profession by the thousands every year. Those absences increase the stress on those who stay and sometimes lead to confrontations with hospital administrators.
We are 4 wards with 1 nurse. You can laugh, you can sneer, you can do what you want. We work here at night and we have 1 aide, and sometimes we're left with 4 wards. Is that nursing care? That isn't even a caring nurse.
If you can tell me, ma'am, where I can go hire 50 nurses or 75 nurses, I'll be happy to put them on tomorrow morning.
But administrators say without good physicians and top-flight new equipment, health care will also suffer. And in the hospital boardrooms, doctors and equipment usually have a higher priority than nurses. Bruce Hall, CBS News, Atlanta.
In order to inform voters about various political candidates in their districts, major grocery store chain, Safeway stores, sponsored a candidates fair at each of the Washington locations today. Of course, it's too late to register now. But as Bill Pounders reports, at many of the locations, it looked like, well,
the
only people there were the people plugging it.
Legislative districts throughout the state. Representatives from the national political campaigns were on hand, as well as those seeking a district office. But outside of the few musicians, outside of a few campaign workers, the candidates fair at this Queen Anne store attracted few people, and political candidates found themselves talking to their own supporters, not the weekend shoppers.
And it's certainly wonderful to see so many nice young people here working for the candidates of their choice.
It's a pleasure to be back here speaking again this morning. This is the third round. I have enjoyed this so much. I'm awfully sorry my opponent wasn't here. She's missed a beautiful day.
On Capitol Hill, the fair was competing with the band across the street, and judging from the numbers, it appeared more people were interested in hearing music than speeches. For most of the people here running for seats in the local district, today's lack of attendance was very disappointing. Most of these candidates can't afford to buy radio or television time, so events such as this one are the only way in order to get in touch with the voters. Bill Pounders, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Well, we hope they got in touch with you. That's the news. Thanks for joining us. We'll all be back again tomorrow. Gary with sports, and Fran with weather, and me with the news. I'm Solon Gray. Good night.
Do a little number on your burger tonight. Heinz 57 sauce does it up right.
Think of all the recipes you fix with ground beef. That's how many different exciting flavors you can create when you cook with Heinz 57 sauce. Meatloaf to ground beef stroganoff. Try Heinz 57 sauce in your recipes or in ours. Look for special recipes on every Heinz 57 sauce bottle.
Do a 57, a little 57. Do a little number on your burger tonight.
America's truly great beers have always been rich and pure, brewed solely for taste. A part of this tradition lives on in a beer called Erlanger, a beer of exceptional quality. It's brewed so skillfully, with such choice ingredients, that just one look, one sip, one taste will tell you here is a classic. Erlanger, keeping the great moments of brewing tradition alive for you.
Yes, honey, I'll have a good dinner. Gotta go.
Tough case, huh?
Tough ain't the word.
Perez is back from Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm starving. Why Kentucky Fried Chicken?
It's a hard case. My men deserve a fresh hot meal.
Great chicken.
Great price.
Anything else?
His wife will kill him if he doesn't eat right.
It's so nice, nice to feel. So good about a meal. So good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Burt Reynolds' Crazy Stunts Monday.
And it's the Saturday night movie. Great stars and great entertainment tonight. The Way West, starring Kirk Douglas.